Hey, it's Tom Cree again. I'm here at TC Motorsports, shooting another video, or just sitting here talking to myself, depending on how you look at it. I have a carburetor here from the 185S restoration. I've already cleaned it, but I want to show you guys what I do and kind of how a carburetor works. So what I usually do is I take some carb cleaner and I clean it really well, get all the tarnish out you can. Sometimes you gotta scrub it and use some stuff. I use little tip cleaners, get in there and clean the jets if possible. Mainly I just use my air and I blow them out really well. First thing you want to do though is take it all apart. But before I take it apart, which I already did, so I'm not going to do it again actually, I'm just going to show you how it works really. It's like this. Usually stuff doesn't fall off. It sits inside here, kind of presses up there. You have your float bowl, which holds the gas. And then you have your float, which shuts off the gas as it comes in. So your gas comes in here, fills up your float ball, lifts your floats, and it shuts it off. Then the biggest problem with a lot of carbs is you get like run over, they spill over and overflows. And that's just because your plunger inside here isn't sitting in there tight enough. And what I do with that is when I clean them, I like to use a polishing compound of some kind, or even just a rubbing compound. I actually truthfully use valve stuff, the lapping compound. I have it in my toolbox. I just use a little bit on a Q-tip like this, and I'll put it in the hole and I'll clean it and wiggle it around or whatever, spin it and get it really clean. It comes out, looks really dirty when you're done, but the brass always turns out super shiny and really clean. And it works really good. I never really have one leak after I do something like that. It kind of takes the tarnish away, and I kind of rub the plunger side too with it. It's a little gritty, and it cleans it off really good, and it usually looks like fresher rubber that way. And so then, now that we understand how it's putting the gas in here, we'll talk about how it pulls the gas out, puts it in the engine. What it does is the air flows through your carburetor, and you have these jets right here. You got your main jet and your secondary jet. When your secondary jet sits in the gas, and as the air flows through it siphons it out. So as the air blows through it, it pulls the gas right out of it. And that jet size is going to determine how much, your air fuel mixture is going to be. Now attached to that as it comes up is your air fuel screw hole. And that's going to kind of help control that air fuel ratio too. You use that for your idle and your decel. So like if you let off on your bike and it has that popping sound, if you were to let that out a little bit, it gets the popping to go away a little bit. But popping sounds pretty cool too, but you don't want too much of it. So that gets your bike to start and idle. The second part is going to be your main jet. Now this is a really basic carburetor. Sometimes you'll have a third jet in there. It's like a mid jet, but it's you usually have accelerator pumps and other stuff going on. This is a really basic one. So you have a main jet, and in that main jet, you have your needle. It slides down in here. It slides through it, right? As I fumble with it here. There's a screw that sits in there, and that's your idle too. So this slides in, and that needle will go into your plunger. And as it pulls out, it lets more gas come in. And as this pulls out, the whole slide will come out of the carburetor. I was hoping to get a better shot, but it's not going to do that. So as you see in here, the slide actually will be coming down into it. There we go. I'll see if I get a shot. So the slide comes up and it lets more air. It's kind of greasy, but it lets more air in through, and it pulls in, and that's where you get your acceleration. So the needle comes up out of the jet, and now the carburetor will open up and let more gas into the engine and rev it up. Sometimes there'll be accelerator pump, so as you rev it, it gives a squirt of gas too, and that's where you get that good burst of power. But that sounds different kinds of bikes, sport bikes. On a bike like this, your idle is actually going to be set by a screw, just pushing on that slide, not letting it go all the way down. So that adjusts your idle. Now the choke on a vehicle like this, for if it's really cold, it's really basic. It chokes the air down, just like it says. You have a little butterfly in here, as it closes, it chokes it off. And when you choke off the air, you're changing your air fuel ratio. So now you have less air, more fuel, and it's gonna have a better start in the morning. And that's how one of these works, and that's my video.